Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Crypto Takeover coming back with another video. So, big dump in the markets just now. Um, we basically just put in another BART pattern. So we knew that volatility was going to be really high going into the end of this month. And with that being said, we are currently maybe just consolidating at the moment before we start to move back up, or are the charts telling us that we could be headed further down? So let's dive in on into it. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I make a Bitcoin TA video every single day. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into it. So excuse my voice. I apologize. I do have my tea here with me, trying to, just survive through the through this little sinus congestion thing that I have, and I think a lot of people are too. But the markets reacted today to what could possibly be the coronavirus pandemic that is breaking out right now. And so we just really need to take care of our bodies, more or less, right? We really just need to make sure that we don't end up, contracting certain things or whatever, and really just have to look out for ourselves. So I'm going to do my best to power through this. I apologize if I make some coughing noises or whatever, just clearing my throat for the most part. I feel like it's just kind of one of those things I will power through the day with. So with that being said, over the weekend we had this nice little run up to the top side, and then we kind of consolidated back down. And one of the things that in the Market Cipher group as well is that we wanted to see whether or not we had the opportunity to consider to long or short these Bart Simpson patterns. And what Flop and Groper's analysis in the group stated was that, yeah, we could have, because our VWAP was retested as support several times before we made our pump. And that's one thing that I'll go over in my Patreon group too as well, is how to scalp with the Market Cipher SR as well. But we can see that we retested a few times and then we finally shot back up. And same goes for when we had our dump too. We fell really far below it. We should have known that this might be a short opportunity for us, and that we continued further to the downside. So, and then so our swing high and our pivot high and pivot low are right now are at about 10,000 pivot high and about 9,500 swing low. Now we currently are trending below our VWAP and all of our EMAs right now on our 15-minute. What we can see on our money flow 15-minute is that we are in our red money flow, still moving to the downside here, anticipating further maybe droppage too. So let's see on our 30-minute. We had some. We're still rounding into our red money flow here as well too. For the most part, you can see that currently still trending below. A lot of our EMAs broke. So we broke through support on our EMAs as well. So we are kind of having a little bit of a nasty little dump here for the most part. Money flow starting to move to the downside. We want to come down here and probably put in a big red dot, then maybe have some consolidation to get us further back into that green money flow. And then we can go into our 1 hour here and see what's happening. Money flow is still in the green right now, but I feel that because this was such a heavy sell-off that we could start to see this money flow start to round off just a tad bit. And even if we zoom out just even more, we can see how our money flow was starting to move back to this downside, putting in some lower lows too, topping out here at that 10.5 area. And I was also watching some other crypto face videos too, because I just, I'm trying to become a better trader for everyone. And I really just, making the videos for myself more or less helps me study the charts. And with that being said, I can share that with y'all. And because I have Market Cipher as well, I want to give back to the people as well too. And we can all study it together for the most part. So was watching a few of CF's videos, and it was funny because there's the CNBC indicator or whatever, and the CNBC I guess had made a they came out to talk about Bitcoin right when we were at 10,500, and talking about how it's going to make new all-time highs in 2020. And as soon as after that, we had this, nice little sell-off here, and putting in some lower lows for right now. So just quite interesting how that works, and how the market can kind of mess with your head a little bit too, especially with retail investors for the most part, and just not really care about anyone, or anyone's emotions or anything. So we really have to just learn how to go with the flow sometimes on these things too. And so then our 2 hour here also does kind of look like it's topping out here on the money flow wise, at least. So if we start to move into this red area, we could start to see some bigger anchor waves being put in as well too. So I do want to share all my market cipher notes with the Patreon group as well too. So feel free to get signed up for that. This is the last week that the prices will remain for. They'll remain the same for right now through the rest of this week, and then I'll be changing the prices up going into March. So just a heads up, if you want to go ahead and get your spot for the Patreon page and the private signals group, you can get signed up for both of those with the level 1 tier right now. But I will be splitting those tiers up, and the private signals group will cost a little bit more going into March. So just a heads up. My Patreon members were ready to play off of this dump too as well. Even though these bar patterns are just really, really hard to play off of sometimes. But hopefully we were all staying safe through this, using some low leverage, and just being patient with the market too as well, is a good indicator of market will test your patience more or less for sure. So let's go into our 4 hour here, see what's happening. I'm going to turn off SR. SR is really only meant to be used on the lower time frames for the most part, but once we start getting to our 4 hour and up, we don't really need to use it too much. So Heikinashi's turning red as well. Money flow is still in the red here. I'm just kind of curious. This could have been our topping out. Whether or not we come back down and put in a bigger red wave, well, that's yet to be seen. Had a nice big green dot down here. But if we, the further we come down here, we can definitely anticipate something too. And I know sometimes if this would have been a nice little play off of as well too, being that money flow is red, but we are seeing our anchor wave being put in here. We could have played off that anchor wave to send us further back to the downside, and I believe that is where we had one of our Bart Simpson patterns happen. Then we consolidated here. Another Bart Simpson pattern as well. So these run-ups really don't last too long, especially if our money flow is red for the most part. Let's go into our 6 hour. 6 hour money flow. I told the Telegram group about this. The Telegram group is free, so feel free to join the Telegram group. I think it's like third or fourth link in the description box below. But our 6 hour had been rounding off here pretty heavily for the most part, and this was a little bit concerning to me, and I think it still is concerning to me to say that if money flow starts to move back into this reddish area, which it already kind of is. This could be, we could be expecting more downside possibly, but this is what I was kind of seeing here. And then depending on how much red money flow we end up putting in, that's yet to be determined. But like I said, market is going to test your patience on this too. And we just need to learn that it's not always a good time to be in a trade. And even if you are in a trade, know when to cut losses. Or if I was actually watching some other Instagram and YouTubers that trade as well, and one of the things that they say is write down your plan and then execute the plan that you have written down. So and stick with it. And that's really what it is. Like I wrote down the plan for my Patreon members, and I've been sticking with that ever since. And so it took a while. It took a little bit of patience to play out, but we can kind of see that we are starting to move into that downside here. And then in our 8 hour as well, money flow is starting to round off just a tad bit. Still no big green wave or no big green dots as well either. I would expect some big green dots here on our 8-hour, and then also our 4-hour did have a big green dot. But I think as we go lower, if we do put in a lower low after this dump happens, then we can expect that. What's going to be this next support line here is at about 9,300, and also our 200 EMA on our 4-hour is at about 9,400 as well. So those will be some nice supports for us, but we'll just have to wait to see what market is going to decide for us as well. So if we take a look at our 8-hour also still rounding money flow for the most part, indicating maybe some more downside too as well. We just really need to keep a watchful eye on some of these oversold positions and maybe consider going in on a leverage trade by then. 12-hour. Also, 12-hour was also kind of making that round top, just like our 6-hour too as well. Woo! Got a nice little blood diamond here. That's pretty cool to see. I haven't seen that yet either. So, Heikanashis are still on. So I'll update the Telegram group about this. I like to give them at least like what Cypher A is trying to tell me. If we see some blood diamonds or anything like that, I'll update them with that. But if you do want the private signals, that is the paid Patreon group, members only. And it basically, I'm just telling y'all when I get in and out of the markets, whether or not I go in on a short or long for the most part. And then I also give y'all trading strategies. So when the tiers get split up next month, the Patreon page will be for me to share trading strategies, but also other predicaments about where market is headed based on other groups that I'm a part of too as well. So I share some of that information with y'all through the Patreon group. I send out emails as well too, so y'all can be sure to sign up for that. The Crypto Takeover newsletter, which I'll send out updates for y'all every so often on there. Also, if I do giveaways every once in a while too, so in order to qualify for that, you need to be a newsletter subscriber. The Patreon group, y'all can find that link in the description box below. If y'all do want to help support the channel, that would be awesome. And then the Discord and Telegram group are free to join, so go ahead and join those as well. If you do want to use TradingView, I'd recommend the Pro Plus plan. That's the one I use. It helps to have a few more indicators on the screen than just 3 with the basic plan. So I just told my group how to get their Aldo EMAs set up, so that way you can use less indicators. So the Aldo EMA basically is a custom code that was written up, and I tell the Patreon members how to set this up, so that way you don't have to have 5 or 6 different EMA indicators on your screen up here. You can have it all in one indicator. So I go over that in one of my Patreon videos. Also, I go over how to set up the whales buy sell signal, which, I mean, you can use that whales buy sell signal on anything. You can make your own bot out of it if you wanted to, and that's totally up to you what you do with it afterwards. But this 12-hour blood diamond is pretty significant for the most part, and being that our money flow is kind of headed to that downside, I will take this into consideration for sure. Let's go into our 1 day here. 1 day Heikanashis are just red as all get out right now too, so we need to be considerate of that, to know that our trend is somewhat in a downwards trajectory for the time being. For how long, that is yet to be determined, but I've been saying that our 100 daily moving average, or our 200 daily moving average, is at about 8,800, which is this yellow line, and I feel that we need to come back down to retest that 8,800 level before we continue our bull run back to the top side, and that will really be determining whether or not Bitcoin's ready to, make its all-time highs for 2020 or consolidate out here for just a little bit longer. So once we come back down, I feel like we're going to need to retest that 200 daily moving average, and then we'll see what Bitcoin wants to do and what the market movers want to actually consider for the time being. So interesting here, these dojis on our 2 day as well. money flow is kind of moving to the upside here on our 2-day for all those perma bulls out there. So we could be coming back down to put in another little red wave, but probably not as deep as this one here. Maybe just a smaller red wave, a little trigger wave here on our money flow to then send us back to the upside. That is a very nice possibility. Our 3-day, also that same thing, making some consolidation here before continuing back to the upside. And then on our 4-day, also signifying some downwards potential here on our 4-day and our 5-day. All the way through our 6-day, we're kind of seeing this money flow that's kind of rounding off just a tad bit too. So we could see some nice red consolidation here. Maybe something not as heavy as back here when we were at 3,500, but we could definitely come back down to into that reddish area for some oversold positioning. And we are putting in those red dots on our anchor waves as well here on our 5-day. If this will load, 5-day, just put in a red dot as well too. And our 6-day, I would imagine also about to put in a red dot. So we are going to consider those and take into consideration that we could be experiencing some lower numbers. Not to sound like a perma bear or a perma bull or anything, because I know YouTube loves these perma bulls out here, and every time I come out with a kind of a bearish video, I tend to get a lot more dislikes. So go figure. But I'm ultimately long-term bullish on Bitcoin for sure. I wouldn't be in this market if I wasn't a long-term bull. But at the same time, we're just studying the charts and we're giving us what the charts see. And that's not for everyone. You know, if you just want to buy and hodl, you're welcome to just buy and hodl. And if that's your strategy, I'm all for it. I would just recommend getting a Ledger Nano X or S. You can use my affiliate link down in the description box below to help support the channel. And right now, Ledger is giving away a free Ledger Nano S when you order a Ledger Nano X. But if you are a trader like myself and you do want to try to leverage trade, we use Bybit for our leverage trading platform, or our preferred leverage trading platform. But what I want you to do is to get signed up for the testnet first and use the fake Bitcoin that they allow you to use to make sure that you're a profitable trader and make sure that your algorithm is working, right? So please use the link in the description box below, then message support on how to access the testnet. If you are a USA citizen, you can leverage trade using Prime XBT, and you can trade S&P 500, some cryptocurrencies, and also some fiat currencies, all using Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. Check it out. I use the Brave browser for a good browsing experience. It's like the best browsing experience ever. I earn BAT token as I browse the web by clicking on ads. So feel free to check out the Brave browser. You earn BAT token, basic attention token, which is a great cryptocurrency and probably the new browser of the future. CryptoTab browser is an easy way to mine your Bitcoin straight from this web browser. So I have it running on about 2 different computers. You can also run it on your phone or your old tablet or something. Just leave it running in the background to start mining Bitcoin. A great way to earn passive income without the whole hassle of setting up an ASIC miner and all that other jazz. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if y'all like to as well, and message me on there. Say what's up. But yeah, these doji candles on our 6-day are a little concerning, so we'll just have to keep an eye out for those. See, our money flow is still nice and thick and green here, so that's a good indication. But also our anchor wave is putting in probably a red dot pretty soon. Same with our weekly, maybe putting in a red dot pretty soon. Money flow is still looking good, so probably won't head too far down to the downside, but we just need to keep an eye on it. And then our monthly close, let's see how we close this monthly candle by the end of this week. This is what everyone's been asking. But as we close the month, we'll probably confirm this green dot. I wouldn't imagine we'll go too much lower, but we can see what happens. We are already at 9,600. So shout out to my Patreon group. I hope y'all are doing well in this. And with that being said, CTO signing out. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Peace.